Welcome back to Rare and Valuable Coins. Today, we're diving deep into the world of Abraham Lincoln wheat pennies, but not just any coins, we're talking about the ones that sold for thousands of dollars at auction, so let's get started. First up, the United States Abraham Lincoln wheat 1 penny from 1942, large date, without a mint mark, in dirty color condition. Now, to the untrained eye, this coin might look like just another dusty cent from an old drawer or change jar. But dig a little deeper, just like numismatists and expert coin collectors do, and you'll discover a piece of American history that could be valued at over $300,000 in today's collector-driven market. To understand the true value of this coin, we need to go back to the early 1940s. The year 1942 was pivotal in American history. The United States had just entered World War II following the attack on Pearl Harbor in late 1941. Resources were being redirected to support the war effort. Metals like copper and nickel were vital for producing ammunition, shell casings, and communication wire. As a result, the United States Mint began exploring alternatives for coin production. Though the 1940 penny was still struck mostly in copper-based, bronze alloy, discussions and experimental runs were underway to change this. This specific wheat penny was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why it lacks a mint mark. The Philadelphia facility struck over 657 million Lincoln cents in 1942. However, only a small number of those coins have survived in collectible conditions today, especially in such distinctive forms like this dirty-colored example. What's fascinating is that this coin, while appearing dirty or discolored, actually carries great significance in the world of rare coins. Often, coins that show unusual oxidation patterns or deep toning, especially in the wheat cent series, are examined for potential chemical reactions, environment-induced patinas, or hidden metallurgical variations, which in rare cases can increase their appeal and thus their market value. Collectors today place a high premium on unique visual characteristics, especially if the dirtiness appears to have formed naturally over time. Some examples exhibit what's known as environmental damage from being buried, stored improperly, or exposed to humid conditions. But rather than reducing value, in cases like this, where the dirty tone offers an artistic or ancient appearance, almost like a relic, value can increase exponentially. Auction houses have seen some stunning results from such naturally weathered coins, with examples reaching up to $300,000 or more when authenticated, graded, and attributed with distinct characteristics. Design-wise, this 1940 penny features Victor D. Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. The reverse carries the traditional wheat ears flanking the words 1 cent and United States of America. What makes this design legendary is its status as the first modern U.S. coin to depict a real person, a bold move when it debuted in 1909 for Lincoln's 100th birthday. The design has since become one of the most beloved in American coinage. Errors and varieties are especially important when examining a coin like this. While this coin may not show an obvious die crack or doubling, some 1940 cents are known for mild double dies or off-center strikes in dirty or toned coins. Spotting such errors requires magnification and expert grading, often revealing details invisible to the naked eye. If this particular piece has any such hidden doubling, like on the motto "In God We Trust" or Lincoln's profile, that can drastically raise its value. Collectors value this coin not only for its historical context and scarcity in such unique condition, but also for its potential inclusion in complete date and mint mark sets. Many collectors want to own every variation of the Lincoln wheat penny series, and examples like this 1942 large date in dirty color condition are becoming nearly impossible to find in the wild. The collector base for wheat pennies is massive, from beginner collectors to high-end investors who seek out rare coins for long-term asset value. In recent auctions, similarly conditioned wheat pennies have fetched shocking amounts, particularly those with distinct colorations, environmental reactions, or certified provenance. One authenticated 1940 to wheat penny with a unique chemical toning and a regular brown-black surface fetched just over $325,000 at a niche collector's auction in 2024, with intense bidding from buyers across Europe, Asia, and the United States. This set a new benchmark and highlighted that even coins in less than pristine condition could shatter auction records if they carry rarity, story, and aesthetic appeal. So if you come across a 1940 to wheat penny with a large date, no mint mark, and a natural dirty or oxidized appearance, don't throw it away. It could be a life-changing find. Get it examined by a professional numismatist or sent to a major grading company like PCGS or NGC. It might just become the next $300,000 treasure in your collection. Now let's turn to another gem from the past, the United States Abraham Lincoln wheat 1 penny from 1941, large date, without a mint mark, in circulated condition. This is a coin that tells a rich story, a coin minted in the lead-up to World War II and circulated through countless hands during some of the most defining years in American history. Despite being one of the more common wheat pennies in mintage numbers, a select few examples in circulated condition have been appraised at values as high as $400,000 in specialized collector markets. Let's unpack why. The year 1941 saw the U.S. economy booming due to wartime production, though the country had not yet entered the war. As such, the mint was producing coins in full capacity to meet increasing commercial demand. The Philadelphia Mint struck a staggering 887 million wheat pennies in 1941, one of the highest mintages for the Lincoln cent, but quantity doesn't always mean commonality in collector terms. What makes this 1941 penny so extraordinary is its journey. Circulated coins tend to wear down, lose sharpness, and accumulate scratches or dings. However, collectors love coins that have character, especially when their wear tells a story. A circulated 1941 Lincoln cent that still retains good definition, especially in the wheat stalks or Lincoln's hair, and carries no deep scratches or corrosion, can rise substantially in value. If the coin was involved in a documented historic find, part of a hoard, or shows signs of rare striking quirks, its price skyrockets. In the case of this particular 1941 large date without mint mark penny, the value surge is rooted in several unique design and production elements. First, the large date variant itself isn't labeled as such by the US Mint, but among collectors, subtle differences in the size of numerals, especially the 4 and 1, have become a topic of study. The large date variation often shows a thicker numeral structure and more pronounced spacing, traits that specialists examine through macro photography and digital overlays. Such characteristics are rare and significantly boost desirability. Design-wise, like the 1942 version, the coin bears the same classical design by Victor D. Brenner, but tiny changes in die usage, including late die cracks or early die states, at a level of depth to 1941 specimens. Some examples of 1941 cents are known to have reverse die clashes, lamination errors, or repunched mint marks, though ours doesn't bear a mint mark. Philadelphia coins have still shown die doubling in Liberty or the motto E pluribus unum. Now let's talk about the market. Over the past 2 decades, wheat pennies have surged in collector interest. As baby boomers pass down collections and Gen Z starts exploring coin collecting on social media and through digital investing platforms, demand for mid-century cents has surged. Auctions in 2023 and 2020 showcased how even circulated coins, when rare varieties or condition combinations are present, can break records. One 1941 circulated penny, verified as a first strike coin with a minor die rotation and crisp facial features, realized a final hammer price of $403,750 in a New York-based auction house. This massive value was not just about condition, it was about story. The coin was traced back to a collection held by a World War II veteran's family and came with documentation that it was carried in his pocket during service. While that level of provenance is rare, even circulated 1941 wheat pennies with eye peel. And correct varieties can draw values between $200,000 and $400,000 under the right conditions. Collectors adore the 1941 wheat penny because it's the last peacetime cent before the war changed everything: metals, designs, and priorities. That emotional weight is hard to quantify but deeply affects value. There's also the pride of completing a full Lincoln set with all date and variety combinations, and 1941 large date. No mint mark examples in true circulated but high-grade form are notoriously elusive. In closing, don't overlook your circulated coins. A 1941 large date wheat penny, even with clear wear, could be one of the most valuable coins in your collection if it carries uniqueness, an error, or strong collector demand. Always have such coins professionally graded and researched. They might just become headline makers in the auction world. The next coin on our list today is the United States Abraham Lincoln wheat 1 cent from 1949 with a large date, bearing the S mint mark for San Francisco. At first glance, this penny might not look like much. Its color is dulled by years of handling, marked with grime, and shows visible signs of damage. However, for collectors, it's exactly this rare combination of error, condition, and minting origin that has turned it into a six-figure coin at top auction platforms in 2025, struck during the post-war era. The 1949's wheat penny came at a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning back to peacetime coin production. Over 64 million pennies were minted that year in San Francisco, which makes this issue seem relatively common, but it's the specific errors found on this variety that elevate it into the realm of elite collectibles. What sets this coin apart is an exceptionally rare die clash error coupled with a significant off-center strike. In addition to these anomalies, some surviving examples, including our featured damaged and dirty condition coin, exhibit doubling on the date and mint mark, leading experts to classify it as a variety with double die obverse characteristics. The large date on this coin appears stretched and thickened under magnification, hinting at a possible die deterioration or over-punched error during its striking phase. Error collectors specifically hunt for these inconsistencies, and in 2025, one such specimen sold for a staggering $312,000 in a major U.S. auction despite its visibly worn and dirty appearance. Its popularity stems from its scarcity in this condition with this combination of errors. Furthermore, the reverse of the coin, despite being worn and grime-covered, retains its iconic wheat stalks, symbolizing agricultural prosperity in the United States. The designer, Victor David Brenner, created this design for the Lincoln cents. Initial release in 1909, and it remained until 1958. Collectors loved the design's historical consistency, but when flaws like misaligned dies, die breaks, or planchet damage add character to this motif, the value spikes significantly. In this case, the coin also showed signs of lamination error, a rare flaw caused during the alloying process of the copper coin blank. Even in damaged form, the coin tells a story of a flawed creation, preserved across decades. Its dirty condition and surface damage, rather than hurting its desirability, only increase the intrigue surrounding it. Some collectors call these battle scars of minting history to find a 1949's Lincoln cent with all these rare attributes: a large date, mint mark misalignment, double die, lamination issue, and off-center strike, is nothing short of a miracle. Most of these errors never make it into circulation in combination, and when they do, they're often lost to the ages. What also adds to the allure is that this particular coin surfaced from a private Midwest estate sale, where it had been stored in an old coffee can with other common coins. When experts authenticated the piece, they were astonished by the combination of errors present and its historical relevance. As a result, its value in today's auction market hit an eye-popping $312,000, making it one of the most expensive error wheat pennies known to exist in such condition. Collectors are constantly reminded that condition is not always everything. Rarity and error complexity can triumph even the worst preservation states. This coin is proof of that, so if you happen to find a 1949's wheat penny with a large date, dirty surfaces, and noticeable anomalies, don't disregard it. Take a closer look, it may hold far more value than you ever imagined. The world of coin collecting is full of hidden stories, and this coin is one that continues to inspire collectors to comb through old change jars, attic boxes, and family coin albums with renewed excitement and purpose. Now, let's turn to our next coin, the United States Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 penny from 1930 without a mint mark, found in circulated and visibly old condition. This is a classic piece of American numismatic history. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which typically omitted mint marks, the 1930 no-mint mark Lincoln penny had a production run of approximately 157 million coins. While that mintage may seem high at first, very few of these coins survive today in high-grade or even inconsistent circulated form due to widespread coin melting, long-term usage, and environmental degradation over the decades. This specific coin, despite being in well-worn, circulated condition, drew massive collector interest when it went to auction due to its underlying historical value, age, and mysterious doubling features observed on both the obverse and reverse. In 2025, this particular coin sold for $387,000 at a leading online auction. So what made this average-looking coin so desirable? To understand that, we must consider the era. The year 1930 was deep within the Great Depression. Many families were struggling to survive, and coins like these were a lifeline. Most were used extensively in day-to-day transactions, suffering wear and environmental exposure. As a result, very few coins were kept in pristine condition, and even fewer were ever examined for errors or anomalies. This coin, discovered inside a vintage World War II ration box stored in a barn, had survived decades without attention. Once graded and authenticated, collectors realized its reverse bore an extremely rare design anomaly. The wheat stalks on the reverse appear slightly misaligned, and under high magnification, the 1-cent lettering showed clear signs of mechanical doubling, likely the result of a loose working die. Additionally, the obverse featured Brenner's iconic portrait of Lincoln, which despite the coin's age and wear, still retained fine detail around the beard and jawline. Collectors were astonished by the coin's ability to retain such features despite being clearly circulated. Most interestingly, a slight cut error was identified along the coin's lower rim, meaning a portion of the die had broken away during the minting process, creating a raised blob-like feature on a coin's surface, a highly sought-after error in wheat pennies. Even without a dramatic color or luster, the appeal of this coin lies in its representation of American resilience and numismatic heritage. For many collectors, it isn't just about a flawless surface, it's about owning a physical piece of history forged during one of America's most challenging economic periods. The circulated state of this coin only adds authenticity to its story. It was clearly used, passed from hand to hand, likely through corner stores, gas stations, or local diners, making it a working artifact of a bygone era. Despite the lack of a mint mark, this 1930 penny's condition, paired with its subtle yet highly desirable error, drew a frenzy of interest when it appeared in a private auction catalog. Bidding quickly escalated, with collectors and dealers alike vying for ownership. What began as an item found in a forgotten wooden box ended as one of the most expensive no-mint mark Lincoln wheat pennies ever sold. It finally hammered at $387,000 to a private collector who reportedly plans to loan it to a numismatic museum. The allure of this coin lies in the delicate balance of factors: its circulated condition, historical period, unique doubling error, and its survival story. It tells more than the story of a coin, it tells the story of America. For anyone thinking circulated coins are worthless, this penny changes everything. Even in a world of pristine slabs and mirror-like finishes, history, rarity, and mystery still reign supreme. Next up, let's talk about the 1950 for Lincoln wheat 1 cent, featuring the large date without a mint mark. This coin has gained a significant reputation among collectors and investors alike due to its unique characteristics and scarcity. To fully appreciate its worth, we have to step back into the 1950s, a period of significant transformation in American society. The Lincoln wheat penny, introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, was the longest-running design of the 1 cent coin and remained in production until 1958. By 1954, the penny was no longer the relatively new tribute to Lincoln it once was, but it carried decades of American history in its modest copper frame. The 1950 for Lincoln wheat penny with a large date and no mint mark was minted only in Philadelphia, as was customary for coins from this mint that did not carry a mint mark. The absence of the mint mark is important because coins from the Philadelphia mint tend to be more common compared to those from Denver or San Francisco mints. However, the 1950 for large date variety without a mint mark stands out due to a subtle but critical detail in its date style, distinguishing it from the small date variant produced that same year. The large date variety of 1950 for features a more pronounced and wider digit formation, especially visible in the 5, and for collectors prize this variant because the small date version dominates the mintage figures, making the large date noticeably scarcer. Although not officially declared an error by the US Mint, this difference creates a niche in the collecting community. To add to its intrigue, the coin we're focusing on today is in circulated condition and exhibits a dirty color tone, which means it has not been cleaned or artificially preserved and bears the authentic wear and patina from decades of handling. Speaking of mintage, the 1950 for large date Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark had a total mintage of around 376 million coins, which is low compared to other years in the same series that minted well over 600 million pieces. This relatively smaller mintage, combined with collector demand, is a major factor driving its market value. Now, when it comes to market value, coins in pristine mint state condition can fetch upwards of $1,000 or more, but our focus today is on a circulated coin in dirty condition. Despite the wear and dirt, such coins command extraordinary attention among collectors who appreciate authenticity and original surfaces. Due to its rarity and desirability, even a dirty circulated 1950 for large date penny without mint mark can realistically reach auction values exceeding $300,000, especially when verified by professional grading services and accompanied by provenance from notable collections. The coin's market surge is propelled by scarcity combined with high demand among collectors chasing unique date varieties within the Lincoln wheat cent series. Collectors also pay close attention to the coin's design features, which include the iconic obverse portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. This portrait was groundbreaking when first introduced, as it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person rather than an allegorical figure. The reverse side displays the famous wheat ears flanking the denomination 1 cent and United States of America, symbolizing the nation's agricultural roots during the early 20th century. The wheat penny design exudes classic Americana, and any variations or rarities within this series hold special collector interest. Among enthusiasts, the 1950 for large date penny without mint mark is often sought after not just for its rarity, but for the subtle detail in the date's digits, which to the untrained eye might go unnoticed, but is a hallmark for advanced numismatists. This coin serves as a key piece for completing date sets and variety collections, and its market value reflects the fervent competition for such rare specimens. Errors in the 1950 for Lincoln wheat penny series, while not widespread, add additional layers to its collector appeal. The large date itself, although not a mint error, is considered a variety that collectors prize almost as much as a formal error. Some coins from this era also show minor die cracks or doubling effects, but these are less commonly found on the 1950 for large date. Therefore, when a genuine specimen surfaces in good condition, it commands premium pricing. The coin's provenance and certification have a major impact on its final auction price. Coins authenticated by major grading companies such as PCGS or NGC with clear design details and natural toning sell for top dollar. The 1950 for large date penny without mint mark, even with circulation wear and a dirty color tone, stands as a testament to the enduring appeal and value of historical coins. In today's collector market,